the first to know. Nsem-Pii.
Fiifi, Fiavi, Kwetey. Fiifi Kwetey. Aye no ho agyeman. Na ono de na mra the NDC lawyers ekoko hyiae na odi nsema to dwa etiefo na oka say the wheel of justice onim say a grind slow no onim na ekame say onyansuade hu na enna lawyer Paul eche ne trans no o schooling yi kire say onim de okeka said some of the NDC lawyers and as ministers be shield MP before ama ompese ye de ombetum hey unimejai ya kolego busa Excellency John Dawani man na se ko busa na adodan ko kufuado na o shase man countless and the school in say unim mra me wono even yankasa the former attorney general hwede to no about forcing case nenye is back and forth at the end of the day nanka omugina campaign platform so nanka say different no but over the reality say uni facts uni evidence na odi wano ena ekoka etiefo oba chiro na no no chiro say Fiifi Kwetey odi wano na ekasa nanka ye ma attorney general nanka wo ye adwuma na hona mu say adwuma no enye de abrewa adwo nemu brother esese o gada wo evidence and facts a enye asem ketwa etiefo emra ye nchero yango ikuti Fiifi Fiavi Kwetey emra odi nsem tuga na lawyer Paul schooling just
may he rest in peace. He led a narrative against Professor Mills that the Chief Justice Georgina Wood should be sacked, should be removed from office, and that until she is removed, the NDC will not be able to jail anyone. Professor Mills spoke publicly about it, said that he's not there to be removing people. Kwabena J, may he rest in peace, the chairman of the party, when he was asked at a press conference that the agitations of the party that the Chief Justice should be removed seems to have hit a brick wall because Professor Mills says he won't do it. Kwabena J's response to the media was that, don't worry, there are many ways of killing a cat. A cat. That's what he said. So these sentiments have been coming. So when Fiifi Kwetey spoke to the NDC lawyers recently and almost threatened them that those of you cutting deals with the MPP people so that they do not go to jail and you are collecting their money, I am coming after you. I know you. I'll mention your names next time. Here's the video.
Some among us are busy trying to cut deals with people who are supposed to be prosecuted. Some among us are trying to cut deals. Some among us are busy trying to cut deals with people who are supposed to be prosecuted. Some among us are trying to cut deals.
Some amongst us, I don't know whether he meant whether they were in the room or just among the NDC fraternity. Now, this is the controversial part of the story. Fiifi Kwetey may be right. He may also be wrong. It's a lesson for politicians. You see, because viewers, when you stand on the political campaign platform, and I've been in the campaign before, and I've been in campaign communication looking for issues to use to make our candidate look good and all. I've been there before, so I know. When you stand on the campaign platform and you say, Kwesi Amankwa is a thief, it's easy to say. You can point to certain things. You can point. Look at his house at East Legon. Look at this at that. Look at this, that. You can say all that. He's a thief. When we see a thief, we can see him. Somebody is sharing dollars in the car. He's a thief. When we see a thief, we can see him. You can say all that. But when you take the document, as the Americans would say, document. When you take the document and you put it in court, and the judge is fair, the judicial system is fair, and the prosecution, you need to establish the offense alleged 100%. If you establish it 90%, you haven't done anything. The person will go away. Now the question is, If you're able to establish it 90-95%, does it mean the person stole or the person doesn't stole? I don't know the answer to the question. But the court processes require you, the prosecution, to establish it by 100%. So when after the election is over, after the shouting has been done, after the victory has been won, the inauguration has come, they have been sworn in, and now they sit around the table. Attorney General Dominic Ayini is there, Thaddeus Sori is there, Nsem-Pii is there, Eduji Tamaklo is there, maybe Tony Letha is there, Marietta is there. Then they said, bring up the case of Kwetey Mensah. Okay. Kwetey Mensah was managing director of Ghana Gas. We all know that he bought 7 houses in London because Kofi told us that when he used to go to London, he would stay in one of Kwetey Mensah's house at Wood Green. He used to stay there. Abena also told us that because of his relationship with Kwetey Mensah in Achimota School, whenever she went to New York, when Kwetey Mensah was managing director of Ghana Gas, Kwetey Mensah has 2 houses in New York. One of them she used to stay in. That's the story on the table. So Thaddeus Sori was that, do we know the house numbers? Do we have evidence that is for him? Okay, maybe let's call Mary. She might know the house number. Okay, Mary, do you know the house number of the place that you used to live in? You say, oh, it's on my phone because Kwetey used to text it to me. So let me check on my phone and send it to you. She checks and sends it to you. It is number 16 Boulevard, New York, something. She said, hey, great. Call Ghana Embassy. Check. Number 16 Boulevard, something. Then they check and then the response comes that the house belongs to Scott Edwards. Scott Edwards. Who is Scott Edwards? Find out who he is. They find out Scott Edwards. No relation to Ghana. No relation to Kwetey Mensah. That's at the table. We have said on the political platform that Kwetey Mensah is a thief. We have published his houses in London and in America that since he became Ghana Gas CEO, 2 years, look at what he has gotten. Kwetey Mensah drives around in an Escalade or a Ferrari in East Legon. Kwetey Mensah, since he became member of Ghana Gas, has become part of East Legon Executive Club. So, as far as the narrative is concerned, Kwetey Mensah must have stolen government money before he became Ghana Gas managing director. Where was he staying? He was staying in Sakumono. I know his house. I know. It's near Farm Bees. That's his house. It is an ordinary house. I know him. He had only 2 cars. Even his children, they were going to Achimota. As soon as he went to be Ghana Gas, the children went abroad. All that is okay. Kwetey Mensah is a thief. Now we are on the legal table. Who is the owner of the house? Scott Edwards. Scott Edwards, the owner of the house? Check Kwetey Mensah's bank accounts. Financial something. Come. Kwetey Mensah's bank accounts. Check. What is in there? I checked though. The guy, he doesn't have much money. He doesn't have much money? No. He has some 2 million cedis. Oh, it's the 2 million cedis that Ghana Gas paid him when he left. So if we are sure we cannot get Kwetey Mensah, call Iyoko. Where does Kwetey Mensah live? Trasacco. Go and read it. Check the owner of the Trasacco house. They go and check the owner of the Trasacco house. Kennedy Japan is the owner of the Trasacco house that Kwetey Mensah lives in. That's where the prosecution is. What are they going to do? What should they charge him with? They go and check his procurement. No procurement breaches because he goes to public procurement. These are the circumstances of the things, how it happens. And that's why Fiifi Kwetey will be angry. Because I don't know that Fiifi Kwetey has been at that round table, the prosecution's round table in the office. I don't know whether Fiifi Kwetey has been there to ask Nsem-Pii that, hey, Chief, what is happening to this case? So that you tell that, Charlie, this case is becoming very difficult. It's becoming very, very, very difficult. Godfrey Dami, one of the finest legal brains of the Fourth Republic, began a prosecution of Kaysel Atuforsen, the finance minister. Godfrey Dami was confident about his case. Kaysel Atuforsen filed a submission of no case after the prosecution had ended their case. The judge, the trial judge, Ifiasewa, concluded that Kaysel Atuforsen has a case to answer. Godfrey Dami was continuing with the cross-examination as Kaysel Atuforsen presented his defense. Lawyers for Kaysel Atuforsen, unsatisfied with Ifiasewa's ruling, filed an appeal at the Court of Appeal. The verdict came in favor of Atuforsen. 2 of the judges of the Court of Appeal felt that Atuforsen has actually no case to answer based on what he told the High Court. What's Godfrey Nami going to do about that? That's the problem. So I found a good example in our history. You know, yes, proving corruption, a historical analysis. Okay, great. I put J.J. Rawlinson's image here. You can't see it. It's a watermark. Now, the soldiers in the past, when they take over government and they catch these people like Rawlins did in 79 and tried them in a bury and took them through some court process and convicted them of stealing government money and went to shoot at them at the range. I believe it happened in the Nkrumah era as well. After post-Nkrumah era. I'm not sure about that. But 77, 79 it happened. The soldiers, Boachi Jan, Osahene, may he rest in peace. Flight Lieutenant Rawlins, may he rest in peace. Major Mensah Poku, Tasiru. I'm talking about the architects of the June 4th revolution. These men were aware that when they were staging the event on the Monday morning, June 4th, 1979, they knew that later in the same month, there are elections scheduled in which this military junta is going to go away to bring in a new civilian administration. The soldiers were aware. They were clearly aware. But what happened? Now, this is the timetable. Military coup occurred on June 4th. Elections in 79 were to be held on the 18th of June. June 16th and June 26th. 1979, former heads of state and military top brass were executed. Second round of presidential elections was held on 9 July. Liman was sworn in on 24 September. The soldiers knew that within a matter of weeks, the government they are trying to overthrow will be gone anyway, because Ghanaians had made a decision. A consultative assembly had drawn up a new constitution. Elections had been scheduled. The campaign had started. The soldiers knew that the government they were trying to overthrow, they said they wanted to overthrow military government so that democracy be ushered in. What then was the point of a coup on June 4th when elections had been scheduled in June 27th? What was the point? But they were aware that the people they are calling thieves, if they swing over to the democracy courts does not catch thieves the way political bigotry catches them. Political bigotry has a way of catching thieves. The courts do not catch thieves the same way. That is the point of Fiifi Kwetey's frustration. Now, let me quickly bring you the Evidence Act, Section 13 thereof. It says, in any civil or criminal action, the burden of persuasion as to the commission by a party of a crime, which is directly in issue, requires proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, this ultimate very high standard called reasonable doubt is the reason why political bigotry in addressing stealing in a republic is fundamentally different, sometimes even opposed to the tools that will be applied by a court to come to the conclusion that an individual has actually committed an offense. William Blackstone says that it is better that 10 guilty persons escape than that one innocent person suffers. Criminal punishment carries weight. To justify it, the state must meet a high threshold of certainty. Blackstone says that, in fact, if some people are guilty, but for some reason you don't find them, it's better than to have one person in there who is not guilty. So we give you a high standard. So it's not very simple to go through a prosecution and establish something. It's not simple. We might know about it, we might have heard about it, but when you come to the prosecution table, it's a different matter. The lawyers will tell you. It's a completely different matter. This is what grounds the frustration of politicians outside the legal bracket who want something certainly to be done about the campaign message they waged, for which reason they were voted into power. Akufo-Addo went through the same thing. Kufuor went through the same thing. Mills went through the same thing. And John Mahama will go through the same thing. And until we go to the campaign and stop saying somebody is a thief to help us to win. If we say people are thieves to help us to win, and we charge the people and they vote for us, then the people will be giving us pressure. Now, Fiifi Kwetey's pressure is not of himself. It's pressure that he's getting from the grassroots of the NDC. that Alaji, Namukache, Somu, Yade, no Mudasu, or Munya, Danumi, Bakuno, or Kotoa, de Omu Jelly or Munina, Omu MPP, Formu Jelly or Munina, Omu Nomu Crawford. Listen to Fiifi Kwetey one more time. Listen, it's the frustration from the grassroots. Listen to him.
Trying to cut deals. Some among us are trying to cut deals. Some among us are busy trying to cut deals with people who are supposed to be prosecuted.
So there's a guy called Kwetey. He was the Inspector General of Police. They were looking for him during June 4th. He ran away. He said he will not have anything to do with these things they are doing. When the Constitution came, he came back. And then he sued the Attorney General. They went on to seize his properties and all that when he wasn't there. He sued the Attorney General. Now listen. In Kwetey versus the Attorney General, 1981, Ghana Law Reports, the plaintiff, Mr. Kwetey, challenged a 25-year prison sentence that he had claimed was unlawfully imposed by a special court under the Armed Forces Revolutionary Council, the AFRC. Mr. Kwetey argued that the sentence was announced after the AFRC had been dissolved and that he was never properly tried or convicted. The Attorney General raised procedural objections under the State Proceedings Act and relied on a constitutional ouster clause that barred judicial review of the AFRC. Oh, Apriku, this is too legal. Okay. The Supreme Court dismissed the procedural objection, emphasizing the supremacy of the Constitution over statutory notice. Okay. On the substantive issue, the court found that the Attorney General failed to prove that a lawful trial or conviction had occurred, and therefore the ouster clauses did not apply. Oh, I didn't need ouster clauses, it's too legal. The court declared the sentence void and upheld the plaintiff's constitutional rights. This is what the court said. The court said that to prove that a lawful trial, so that the court said the trial of the AFRC that convicted Kwetey was unlawful. It was a charade of a... So, Fiifi Kwetey may be right, but really and truly, it may also be that the lawyers around the Attorney General's table are finding it difficult to put the dots together for the purpose of a prosecution, so that they will conviction of the individual and they will pass the threshold of proving beyond reasonable doubt. That's not simple, and that is the problem. And until we learn to manage our politics and our campaign a certain way, anyone who runs on corruption and wins elections, we'll see what happens. President Kufuor ran on corruption. He was fortunate. He was able to convict some people, Quality Grain, Dana Bodakpi, etc. I think in the Fourth Republic, he's the one who was convicted the most, because at that time, they didn't have public procurement law. And public procurement law now comes. So it becomes a benchmark where there are procurement breaches. If there are no procurement breaches, you really cannot proceed beyond that. It's very difficult, very complicated. So it's not about the gossip that Akwesi Mensah, when he was managing director of Ghana Gas, had a house in New York. The house belongs to Scott Edwards. You can't go beyond that. The Attorney General cannot go to the court and say that, my lord, Akwesi Mensah appropriated money and bought a house in New York, 6 Boulevard something, 5-bedroom house with a swimming pool, and this is the document. Akwesi Mensah will tell you that I don't have a house in New York. The house where Araba stayed, my friend, it belongs to my friend Scott Edwards. Scott Edwards is fast, not my friend. I met him in Yale, and we had the same teaching group or something. So whatever. That's the problem. So that is where the frustration comes from. Viewers, I don't know whether you get my point. I hope you do. But that's where the frustration comes from. Well, I'm running out of time. I need to get to President